SwayamPrabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Let us start this lecture with a thought process. Cultivation is the method of realizing your infinite potential lying dormant in you by developing intimate relationship with mother nature. If you look at this thought, I had also mentioned earlier that if you want to be a rishi, a sage, you will have to do कृषि. ऋषि बनने के लिए कृषि करना जरूरी है. So let us recall that what we had learned in the last lecture. We basically looked at sowing methods, and then we looked at transplantations, how to do that, and what are the ways and why we will do, and we also discussed about the mulching, which is basically covering the soil, and why we will do, how we will do, what are the types, all those things we learned. And today we will be looking at basically pesticides. Pesticides, you will be knowing that pest which will be affecting the crop, and basically insects, fungus and other things destroy the plants, and therefore pesticide is basically pest killer. And it was a problem which was being identified earlier also in our text or the literature, that people say that major calamities, if you look at, one of them of course the insects, but other calamities what our ancestors had identified is the rain, cyclone, drought, and rats. Rats were also this thing. Today also we face problem, and so also birds and parrots and foreign invasions. Of course, for the birds and parrots and other things, we are having a way to give them something, so that they will be also there, because the birds are important for, it is important for the like taking this stigma to other places, right. And also the another thing is foreign invasion, and today if you look at, we are facing the problem of cultural invasion, okay, because our culture is being getting spoiled at a very rapid rate. And according to the Agni Puranas, that is it prescribes the few treatment to the promote the growth of flower, fruits, and overcome the infertility, right. And after actually they use in this process, they use a lot of local materials and the organic materials which is available, like bidanga, which I had shown you. Cow means desi ghee, and they should use this mixture, and they should be mixed with the cold water along with the kulatha, masha and mudga. These are the kinds of grains what is being being cultivated in our country, and barley and sesamum, this is basically til, and this has to be sprinkled for the as a pesticides. And not only that, like I remember that in our place we used to use the neem, right, as a part of pesticides, like, and there will be several other like dhatura and other plants were used for as a pesticide for the, so that it can prevent. And those are local knowledge are are being lost now, is being lost already, and we need to revive it, and so that people will be not depending upon too much on the chemical pesticides. The natural pesticide can be used. It recommends sprinkle the plants with the cow ghee and cold water as a general remedy. Now one has to test, of course cow ghee is very costly. Now who will use that? We will have to find it out, what is the better cheaper way of doing that. And powder of the offal matter of sheep, goats and other animals also. Offal matter means internal matters, flesh which people cannot consume, and the barley powders, and again til is very much used, and beef, and these powder are kept buried for 7 days underground, I am like and that might be for the fermentation or some other thing. Why it is so, that question has to be asked. Then they have to be sprinkled on the plants, and this for the which can act as a pesticide. Plants are to be irrigated with washing of fish. Of course, this I know because when I was a kid, my mother used to put this offal matters of the fish which cannot be taken as a food nearby a what you call lemon tree, which was not giving the fruit, but the tree started giving. At least I can vouch for that because I have seen in my childhood. So, that was which was being used, and it is there in the text also. A worm eaten plant is to be irrigated with solution of oil cake in water. Earlier days oil cake being used because oil being produced in the village itself by the person, Each year during the harvest season we produce our own oil and keep it and use, not buy from the market. So, that is the things which we do not have today, and this is the bidanga. I thought I will show you, and it is a bidanga this thing, and powerful anti-parasitic herbs of Ayurveda, which is being used profusely not only for the plants but also the human beings. And this is the til or the sesame which is being used also for that. If we use this oil on your hair, you can grow good hair, and then you will not having problem of itching and other things, right. So, there is a kandakar and other insects. This I have shown you some of the insects what affect our plants and are to be taken out from the roots of the tree, and which then sprinkled with the cold water for 7 days. I do not know why cold water, how it will affect. These are questions that are coming to my mind, and it might be coming to your mind. For that you need to do research and find it out. And for destroying the insect, text recommended administrating the water containing milk and carcass water, kunapa, is basically called again the flesh and other things. It will be fermented and it will be put, it will be having lot of smell also, right, kunapa, and vilatra and vaka, bhacha, we call basically bacha kind of things we call in, and then cow dungs. So, this has to be basically used for the destroying the insects. And by plastering of siddhartha is another plant, abda and vacha and kusta, atibhasa. These are the all plants which you people may not be knowing, even is a local in the Sanskrit names, and this can be used also for the as act as a pesticide. And you can fumigate, fumigate is burned it, and then the gas will be going out with the fume of siddhartha, ramatha, bidanga, I have shown you, ushana, and washing of beefs and horn of buffaloes and flesh of pigeons along with the powder of bilota. See, there is a lot of things are there, but one has to see which one is where. That also part is a part of the text, but I am not mentioning here because of paucity time. And another recommendation, plaster with bidanga with mixed of ghee, irrigate with the alkaline water for 7 days. That is also, they were aware that this can be done, and poultice of the beef, siddhartha and sesame, like this is again kind of these things which has to be used. And worm eaten plant is to be irrigated with a solution of oil cake in the water, right. This is being used earlier days, and insects on leaves are destroyed by dusting them with ashes and brick dust, and this I have used recently in my plants in the kitchen garden, which is quite useful, right, particularly with the ashes from the wood, and some people use from the cow dung ashes, right. And injury caused by insects, right, to the plant can be healed by plastering jatugraha and then sesame or cow's urine, ghee, and of course siddhartha, and watering with the milk, right. And these are things are there which is available locally and it can be used. If you look at we use basically cows and then milk and then urine and then other things. So, therefore, this is the thing which is being used as a manure also, like cow dung and other thing. So, manuring is very important because evidence about use of manure goes back to the Vedic period, and because they use the term karisha and sakari, sakam, saka, basically it is nothing but cow dung, and cow dung is important. That is why cow is considered as a very important for our cultivation culture, right, what we are inherited from our ancestors. The word Karisa continued Satapatha Brahmana denotes dry cow dung, and cow dung was collected in a cow stall according to Atharvaveda, provide reference in mention of cow dung as a useful manure of sali variety of rice. It is very sought after rice, and even during Vedic period. And the Arthashastra observed that the qualities of land is very important, like and which is has to be krutam. Krutam means basically has to be done. It is not that you will get, okay. You will have to contrive it, you will have to make it, prepare it for that. And Khetra Sodha, which is is important, being mentioned in the Ramayana, that means improving the field and use of basically fertilizers or the manures. Of course, nowadays people are using chemical fertilizers, but there is a organic fertilizer what we our ancestors were using. And Krisi Parasar, you might be aware, I had mentioned earlier, that recognizes the importance of manure for crops, and about the which is important for getting a good yield, right. And if you look at, I have shown you like here a pit, and which is containing cow dung, and this is known as basically pit composting, like is having pit, you put that, it will ferment and then you will get the compost. Arthashastra refers to treatment of seeds and application of manure to the soil, and if you look at most of all the scriptures are talking about the manuring or the use of manure for the enhancing the fertility of the soil. And Kasyapiya Krusi Sukti, if you look at, this is the text which is basically edited with an introduction by study by Gwela Ostila, a Sanskrit work. This is the largest work on the agriculture. It is a very thick book, and unfortunately it is not available now, what I was told, but it is being done by the edited by the Gaila Wazitila, you can see, and which says that this is a very exhaustive book describing about various aspects of agriculture in India, ancient India. And cultivator basically you will have to use cow dung, goat dung and composites with the in order to increase the fertility of soil. That means you will have to use that. And it advises that paddy seedling had to be transplanted in rice field softened by ploughing. That means first you do the ploughing and then you put this what you call seedling. Of course, it should be manured with the goat dung, cow dung, with of course lata. Lata basically is a creeper, and bratati, right, which will be going up. These things has to be done. That means it is basically, if you can look at, it acts as a mulching also, right. And according to this verse 513, it says that it is desirable that second cultivation is to be done after having raised the fertility of soil by manuring with goat dung or cow dung or composites of the mix of that, because early days goats were being reared. That is why Gandhiji was very fond of goat milk, right, if you remember. That this is because if you want to have a second cultivation, then you will have to enhance this fertility, and you once you do that with the growing population particularly. According to the text by the Sirabhati, Lambu, Kakaru and Trapsu, other belong to category of Saka. Saka means basically pot herbs, you can develop the herbs in a pot, are to be fumigated with the bone, odor and hog on Sunday. I do not know why on Sunday, why not other days, and to be burned by the straw fire in the month of Falguna. See, they are very particular about the month, and then of course maybe with the seasonal thing. Sprinkle that with oil cake mixed with the spirituous liquor. Liquor can be used maybe for fermentation of this, and then that will be something something will be coming up which will be important to enhance the fertility of the soil. And there are various kinds of fertility. Of course, now it has been improved little bit, that is a trench composting, and if you look at, you can put this material, organic matter, particularly cow dung, goat dung, even like your vegetables, creeper, some other thing material which is can be made compost, organic matter, and then it will take time. So that you can have here, you can fill here, and then you can, this may be working place, you can join here, and then once it is filled and then prepared for it, you can put this plant, and this is known as trench composting. And there are some other varieties, that is a anaerobic in nature this is, but whereas aerobic nature where air will pass through, this is a basket kind of thing, you put those organic matter for the decompose, right. But in this case some of the gas will be coming out, which will be maybe polluting the atmosphere, but here the gas will not be, because air is going through. So therefore this is being also is used not only nowadays, in earlier times also, even some villages people do that. They may not be aware that it is aerobic and anaerobic, but they know that this is the thing to be done. So, and as I told that cow is a part of our agriculture, particularly in village areas people do rear, and even in cities. Why will rear cow is the question, and why our ancestors did it in ancient time. There are several reasons, and of course most of them you will be knowing. One is of course we use milk products profusely, and other thing is agriculture, tilling, irrigation, carting, and transport. For the transport earlier days mostly it is done by the ox or oxen, and there is another important aspect which is for a better physical and mental health. Physical, because you will get the food and you will be taking care of the cow, you will do some physical work, and also the take a nutritious food like their milk products. And mental health means like you will have a relationship with them, and that is the reason why now people are talking about animal therapy in Western countries, and earlier it was a part of our life. And I have seen that people wherever they are in a trouble, they will go and have a chat with the cow, as if can listen or can understand the thing, and that gives a solace. Because if you go and tell your problem to some another person, that fellow may spread and you may encounter problem. But if you go and talk with a cow or some other animal which you are having this thing, then you won't. So that will give the things that is, therefore this is the important part what our ancestors were doing, and we need to do that if possible at this moment also. So India today has around 37 pure cattle breeds. A lot of breeds are being what you call extinct, because we are not taking care of them, and 5 of these or more maybe, Saliwal, Gir, Red Sindh and Tarparkar, Rathi are well known for milking powers. It is more than the Jersey or the Holstein, the western breeds, right, which is known for the milk production. And there is another varieties like Kankrej, Ongal, Haryana, or belong to dual breeds that have milch power, like milk they can produce milk more. Also the drought collie, that means they are good for ploughing animals also. There are several, these are the some of the figures I am showing, I am not going through that. This is a Panwara, Nagori, they are having, each are having their own name, that means we are so attached to them, started giving the name, and it belongs to various parts of the country, because India is not a country, it is a subcontinent, I call it, So there are various regions that are having. So cow was very important, and we should preserve it for our life and so also cultivation, and the local cow or the native cow is very important. I will be talking about little bit what are the differences between indigenous and the foreign cattle breeds. If you look at this, our indigenous breed, they can tolerate the heat as the sweat glands are bigger in size and more in number. These are technical things, you can see yourself. And sticky secretion smooth the skin, and short hairs avoid insect pests. And that is, you will see that because they are being grown here for the ages together. Whereas the exotic foreign cattle breeds like your Holstein or the Jersey or some other breeds developed in the cold temperate conditions, and sweat glands are small and less in number, so cannot tolerate high temperature in our tropical climate. And you can see even today that in the summer the cow will be making a vibration moving here and there like that. and they are feeling pain because this is not the place for them, because the body is not designed for that. Okay, it is as bad like a foreigner will come and stay in the 45 degrees Celsius, maybe sometimes it goes to 48, 49, he will feel fish out of water, right. Similarly, the cows are in pain also, the western cows what we are taking because of getting more milk. And Indian is very active and disease resistance, adjustability is quite excellent, and most of them are specially developed for hard work from centuries together, you know. It is not that they are being used for plowing other things, and they are prone, you know, acclimatized with this thing. And more these exotic cattle breeds are prone to disease. Crossbreed bulls are lazy in nature and not suitable for hard work, right. And if you look at the indigenous one, is small closely situated hard hoops. Hoops means, you know, in their leg or the palm we call is good for the plowing, but whereas hoop decay is less here, because when there will be friction and then it will be decaying. It can run on the hard rocky surface, particularly Himalayan cow, you say they can go also steep. They can climb the mountain, you know, Himalayan cow, if you look at, I have seen myself, and which is very uncalled for. We cannot as a human being climb, but the cow can climb, you know, like. And hoop is soft for in case of exotic or the cattle breeds, and gap between the hoops is wide. As a result, it is you know, can't walk properly, it will be very slow, and they get also hoop diseases. It cannot run on the rocky surface, cannot even walk, forget about running. Okay. And certain breeds produce good amount of milk. Of course, most of them breeds produce less amount of milk, but we should also look at the quality of the milk what we get, and which I am not discussing, but you can look at technicalities. In case of exotic or cattle or the foreign cattle breeds, in case of foreign cattle breeds, the Y chromosome of the Bos taurus is damaged during the process of evolution, leads to the decrease of milk yield potential and high fertility with the time, right. And the teats and pores remains tightly closed, decreasing the chances of mastitis. But in contrast, if you look at the teats and pores are big, hence milking is easy in case of foreign cattle breeds, but this is the reason for more chances of mastitis. That means mastitis will be getting, they will be getting lot of pain, because those pores will be blocked, right, in case of exotic breeds, but in case of indigenous cattle breeds it will not, because they are designed that way. And uterus opening in case of indigenous cattle remains closed, which minimizes the infection. In contrast, the foreign breeds, that is the entry to the uterus inside the body remains open. So, therefore, it is subjected to the, you know, maybe infection very easily, right. And vitamin A and iodine content in case of indigenous cattle breed is more in milk, and bad cholesterol is less, right. The good cholesterol may be more, I mean like that one has to see, but it is. But in case of the foreign cattle breed, milk has more amount of bad cholesterol, therefore, you will get more heart problems and other things, and vitamin A is less. So, therefore, we need to look at that, you know, indigenous cow is should be used for our application. Of course, the foreign cattle can be good for them, but for us it may not be, because it is not acquainted with or not evolved in this part of the country. So, basic principles of traditional natural agriculture, let me just talk about little bit about that. Traditional agriculture considers animals, crops and soil as a single system, it is not different, okay. The integrated holistic approach what we think, and it emphasizes on a local breeds and varieties. That is why I have already talked about why we will go for local or the native cow breeds. And it advocates use of astrological sowing and planting calendar. Of course, I am having little reservation about this astrological sowing, although it may be used as a predictive tool according to one of my student who happens to be engineer, but he takes a lot of interest in this astrological, but I do not have faith. But that does not mean that you should not check it, you can check it, and find it out whether it is true or not. That has to be done. Okay. And it uses various herbal mineral additives for compost preparation, which is natural, and it advocates for the local production and distribution system. That is very important, because we will have to produce locally and distribute, so that transportation cost and also the pollution due to the transportation can be minimized. And people who, in one locality should not remain hungry because food is not there. But nowadays what is happening, good varieties of, let us say, apple will go away from Kashmir and other people. Good varieties of the rice, sal, suppose it is in Bihar, now Bihari people won't get that, So therefore that things goes because of this market system, and then we advocate on that natural farming. It relies on the open pollination seeds in the natural manner. The pollination is very important. Therefore birds and other things they do, and insects, like your butterflies, the other insects, they help in pollination. So that is a very important thing which we need to take care, because nowadays people are thinking to use artificial pollination, because pollination is being reduced nowadays because of the air pollution and water pollution. Lot of insects are dying, and which is very important. Therefore it is very important to look at that. And advantages of natural farming, the farming cost can be reduced considerably, right. We are talking about a zero budget farming. That means you need not to pay any money. You can integrate it in such a way that one can have zero budget farming, so that the farmer won't die because of in debt, because they have taken a lot of loans and then they couldn't repay because of calamities. So that has to be looked at. In ancient days it was all integrated, right. And the eliminate we will have to by this natural farming we can eliminate use of synthetic or the chemical fertilizer and pesticide, which is not only bad for our health but for the mankind. And it minimizes soil erosion, as I had explained earlier, increasing the crops yield up to twofold within 5 years, because the soil is already being spoiled by the use of chemical fertilizer. It will take time to come up. So and then free from harmful chemicals, artificial flavor and preservatives, right. And we do all these things for our what you call food industries. That is another big problem, challenge for the people to have a good health. And eating natural foods may in fact reduce the risk of heart attack, strokes and cancers, as I had mentioned earlier. And if you use the native things, and then it will be really, you can overcome lot of problems to a larger extent. So if you look at the natural farming is basically for the mother nature, it is related, and you can think of there will be environment restoration, right, because if we use it there will be environmental restoration, means environment can become better if you won't pollute the water, air and other things, also soil. And polyculture and biodiversity is important for the nature to work, right. And we, as I told, that intercropping, nothing but your polyculture, right. Together you are doing symbiotic relationship develop. Efficient use of natural resources we are talking about, because if you will use locally you need not to really spoil it. And restore some trust in society, because today because of food and because of business the trust among the people are being reducing at alarming rates. Trust is important. So therefore we can restore the trust in the society. Trust is important for any relationship, and billions of innocent people are dying because of food, and that culture has to be that nobody should die without food, and that humanity has to come up when you go for the natural farming. And recession of proof of local job creation sustainable manner. You are going for job, but agriculture will give a lot of job security, right. Food is important. Anyway you are working hard to get the food, and the food what you are getting is junk or is not of good quality. So you can do means you will get the good food, right. And decentralized food system, what I had already discussed. Urban natural, you see earlier days people say that the villagers will make the cultivate the and feed the urban people. I say no, you should convert the urban areas to the village. Urban areas in ancient India nothing but a larger village, right. and they should cultivate their own food. And community supported organic agriculture, the natural agriculture is important, community together will be doing, not individual. Food security and safety, and health prevention through proper diet, as I told, and as I told earlier that health, we need not to spend that much of money. And if you look at, there is a climate stabilization by carbon captures, it can be done, and food and clean water for all, because what happens, the water you are not contaminating because of adding chemicals and then using the urban waste and putting into rivers, a lot of problem can be solved. And if you do all those things, natural farming can give you the world peace, according to me, because the peace is being hampered because of you are greedy and you are trying to encroaching into others areas. So, concluding remark, let me tell you, nutritious and natural food is essential for not only human beings, for other animals also, right. That is important to keep in mind. Man has not created forests, rivers, mountains, brooks, etc., but destroyed them in the name of development with the help of modern science and technology. And natural farming practiced by our ancestors is the panacea to the modern human being owes, as I told in the last as I told earlier, and more research should be carried out to adopt the traditional agriculture technology to re-establish the umbilical relationship with mother nature. When you are in a home, there is a pipeline which comes to you for feeding from the mother, okay. So, that umbilical relationship is required, leading to the restoration of natural balance in our ecosystem, which is at stake, which is in trouble today. And native agriculture technology should be preserved and improved further, not that you throw it out as being done today. And native seed banks should be created for preservation of native breeds, not that you will have to depend on the multinational companies or companies to have your own seed. We should have seed varieties, and then we should have a of our own. So, this is very important point you should keep in mind, that will affect, because that is affecting entire life, food is important. So, therefore, I will, with this I will stop over, and I hope that and wish that you should learn something from it and apply in your life. Thank you very much.